You need someone to keep you up to date, but also tell you that everything's gonna be okay. It's America. You up?
Good morning, America. You up? Welcome to the show. And my dear darling co-hosts, Brinley Lee Benson and Brian Bryanson are with me here today. Unfortunately, we are missing two of our normal co-hosts. Our fearless leader, Joan Chancellor, is still gone somewhere. We're not exactly sure where. Also, Sally Sessions is not here this week, but we're just going to be holding down the fort for the three of us. And boy, it's a great, beautiful, and early morning today. So how's everybody doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. It's actually just about noon here in Greenland. I'm in the village of Itakwatormit, which is, some people say, is the most remote village on Earth. And it has a hotel where you can stay and say that you've been to the most remote village. And I was here reporting for a story, and it is in fact remote, and I can verify that. Unfortunately, there's only one flight out of the town every week, and it goes to Iceland. And I was not able to make it because the plane was lost. And I don't mean that it crashed or that it was lost overseas. They just don't know where they left it. It's a very remote area, and their search is continuing for where they left the plane, but whoever flew it before apparently is not around and is not answering voicemail. So
That is
End
alarming.
up in the weirdest situations. I mean, you're always coming to us from, an island somewhere or wherever that is. You're just so fun.
well, thank you.
Certainly better than the last guy who was here on the show and all the guys before him who all had to leave and all of those sexual harassment scandals.
Yes, yes. We're glad that you're on another continent right now, Brian. It just makes things easier.
Safer, really, for everyone. So, folks, I think we should talk about the election that's coming up. It's really on everyone's minds. Primary voting is now open. If we go to our dear viewers, you can go to POTUSamongus.us. POTUS is in P-O-T-U-S, President of the United States, among.us. POTUSamong.us. It's confusing. There's a lot of us's. Us, really, we are us, all of us in this together in the US. And another exciting thing, so the voting's going to be open all week, and then our primary results show is going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. and yours truly is going to be co-hosting, and I'm very excited. It's just a huge honor, and I know, Brinley Lee, I know that you applied for that as well, and I'm so sorry to have preempted you on that, but I do have more experience on the show and more experience on the air, and so I'm so thrilled to be given this honor, and I hope I'll see all of you there that night.
Just can't wait to see your star turn on the live show, Perky. It's gonna be great.
Oh, thank you so much, Brinley Lee. I just really appreciate your support. I just always do. So. How about those debates? Did you all watch the debates last week? What do we think about those?
I have to say that it's been so interesting because the Rock Party has had a pretty stable set of candidates, and so they came in ready to rumble in that debate, and rumble they did. But then there were also just some very touching moments. I think later on in today's show you'll hear Sherry Crabtree comment on that moment between Pac and Nobody that. I think was just really the main takeaway. It was just so touching.
Legendary.
I have a Nobody is Somebody shirt that I got off Etsy right after the debate. It just really hit me here. But then, the other parties have all these new candidates. And so, we've got all these like new people coming in. It's hard to get to know there are just so many candidates. Then you've got the Cream family. There's just like 18 of them on, debating.
Creams. And there was that really awkward moment where the moderator just kept saying Dick Cream over and over again, and he really just didn't appreciate it. It seemed to be quite offensive to him, and I don't know if that's going to play well with the American people. I think he might have actually gained quite a bit of sympathy in that moment by just being basically abused by the debate moderators.
Yeah, completely. Brian, were you able to get reception where you are? Were you able to watch the debates?
Not really. There's one Wi-Fi cafe here, and it's in the middle of the lake, because that's the only place that isn't blocked by the mountains, but you have to swim there. So instead I managed to get delivered the New Yorker here, and so I read David Remnick's analysis of the debates, and he thought that we were probably going to see some party implosion coming up in the near future, and perhaps people splitting off from other parties and forming new ones. I also spoke with Michael Delicious, which that interview will air later in the segment, and he's a new candidate who does not accept political parties as something he subscribes to, and he's kind of striking out on his own, which seems to be the new kind of do-it-yourself way. He's also claims to be part mushroom, and I can't say that he isn't, but I can understand why that would give him an edge in certain demographics. There are people who really like mushrooms.
Well, folks, I think it's time that we check out the news stories for the week. Are we ready for some NSFW?
We always are.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Perky Chirps, and this is America, You Up. We're going to get right into the news stories for the week. And Brian, I think you have a headline to start us off, don't you?
Yes, and I think Brinley Lee would probably have a lot to say about this. The headline is very simple, but the story is quite surprising. The headline was simply, Disney reorganizes.
Disney reorganizes, I know. I mean, so Disney is an empire. There's Disney World, there's the movies, there's Disneyland, there's Disney Tokyo, there's the stores, and they just decided to reorganize. And what they are doing is they're dividing up by character. And so there's going to be a Mickey unit that has the kind of classic Mickey, Donald, Goofy characters. There's gonna be like a vertical alignment there. So all the movies, the stuffed animals, the rides, they're all gonna be controlled by the Mickey division. There's gonna be a princess division. Obviously that will be the princesses. So you've got your Tianas, your Elsas, for the newer princesses, your classic princesses like Snow White, and that obviously is going to be led by a woman. Who better to lead the princess division than a female CEO? So princess division, again, vertical alignment, and then you've got the kind of everything else, the like modern, not aimed at 3-year-old girls and not classic stuff is going to be over in this other division. And they think that's really going to allow them to capitalize on the different markets. You've got a classic division that's really older, really into kind of like buying, cells and animation cells and things like that. You've got that really core, 2 to 5-year-old girl demographic, and then you've got the kind of broader public. So that's what's going on over at Disney. I have the perfect story for Perky. I know she's going to relate to this one. The headline is, 62-year-old python laid 7 eggs despite not being with a male for 2 decades. And I know she's going to bring some personal insight to this story.
Hear that one more time. That was a lot of information.
Yeah, so 62-year-old python, so an elderly python, laid 7 eggs despite not being with a male for 2 decades.
Well, this is a weird science story that comes to us from Australia. This python, who was 62 years old, which really, is not that old. If you really, pythons can live for a very long time. And this python decided that she was going to take matters into her own hands, and that she was tired of waiting for for someone to come along who wouldn't leave her. And so she just took matters into her own, well, not really hands, because she doesn't really have those. She just sort of slithered. And she just decided to self-fertilize, which is not something that you would think that pythons would be able to do, but lo and behold, it is a miraculous case. And I think that we can all learn something from this about independent womanhood. And that's that story. Now, Brian, I've got a fascinating story that I'd love to hear more about from you, which is sleeping microbes wake up after 100 million years buried under the seafloor.
Well, this is obviously a concern because 100 million years ago, these microbes were responsible for killing off not the dinosaurs, but the things that lived before the dinosaurs that people don't talk about because they were around for only a very short time. They were sort of like a hybrid dinosaur, bird, fish kind of organism. And scientists have only recently discovered that it was a bacterial infection that knocked them all out within a couple of years, partly because the dominant male of the species was somehow transmitting to the other creatures that this bacteria was not real and that they didn't have anything to worry about. So they died very quickly. And now those very same microbes are coming back. They are woken up. And, you know, there's a legend that that they would wake up when they had a purpose. And I don't think that the purpose can be anything for any of us to get too excited about, because it definitely means that they're coming to somehow purge the earth of some kind of life that's perhaps arrogant or misguided or doing things to the planet. And let's just hope it's the tamarins, because I've had my eye on those tamarins for a long time and they are up to no good. So that's that story.
Well, thanks so much for that last headline, Brian. And we're going to take a short break. And then after this, we'll be back with interviews from fun guy, Myco Delicious, and the campaign manager for the Pick Pock Oda Pot Garrett campaign, Sherry Crabtree. We'll be right back.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to America U Up. I'm Brian Bryanson, reporting to you live from a wood factory in New Hampshire that makes other wood factories. We'll be speaking with them later today. But first, I've got some time out to speak with Myco Delicious, a candidate for POTUS who's sort of just building up his profile. And we are very interested to hear what he has to say. Thank you. Good morning, Myco.
Good morning, Brian. Yes, it's so lovely to be talking to some of your human media. I'm not one of the three main parties. I don't operate in the three-party system, but I'm in my own independent mushroom party, and I'm excited to talk more about the mushrooms and learn more about the humans.
So just to clarify, you are not human.
Well, it's funny. Yes, you humans always want such clean lines about what you are. They always want to put you into boxes. I was human fully, but really there is no singular human. You think even you are a human, but you're actually a culture of fungal and bacterial cultures in your stomach and the rest of your body. And you're weighted towards human, and I used to be weighted towards human, but now I'm much more mushroom. As you can see, they've colonized my body, and they've erupted from my head. So it's I am human, but I'm also so much more. But so are you. Yes, well, so I was a mushroom farmer. I always had a love for mushrooms, and then I started learning more about them, and I saw them as playing the role in nature that we should be playing. The healers, the transformers, the guiders. And I just wanted to learn more, and so I spent more and more time and built myself a lab and started to isolate some spores, and I just really got a lot of exposure, and eventually there was enough of a spore exposure that I think their different mycelial webs started to embed inside of me and take over more than they normally do inside of a normal human body. And so in a lot of ways, I'm a mushroom human farmer. I started advocating for ranked choice voting to get it passed in the human world so that you could break out of the 2- and 3-party systems. And now that we have it, I'm just here to run because I want to bring a more natural perspective, a more, really a more human perspective too. I think a lot the humans get thinking that they're outside of nature, but they're really all a part of it. Even that wood factory was.
It's interesting that you say learn a little more about the humans, because you were once unambiguously human from what you said. And I'm curious to see how your perspective has changed on humans since adopting a semi-fungal identity, and how your relationship with the mushroom community has changed your perspective on things like infrastructure, taxation, education, or whatever issues you happen to care about.
It's a big question. Good though. My perception of the humans is that we're so limited. We limit ourselves to these metaphors and these ideas that we have about how things work, and then we create these science kind of paradigms that reinforce them, and they are able to achieve these incredible things, like you're saying, infrastructure and stuff. But we assume that because we're good at something, we know everything. And that's something that has frustrated me, and that I didn't quite see as when I was more human, at least. Though, again, I don't think there's anyone who's unambiguously human. We're all ambiguously human. We're all ambiguously fungal. My views on infrastructure and then my views on sort of like lots of things is, I feel like we spend our time focusing on all these abstract things, treating the symptom of the problem. And more I see that we need to focus on the root causes. And if we're going to start somewhere with how do we address all of our many intersecting, interwoven mycelial problems, we have to start with essential needs, essential work. And so, I think feeding people, clean water, housing people, I think we have to do that first. And then we start to give people money who need it, or even people who don't, so that they can have a real safety net and make the decisions about their own life that they want to make. And then that will be the true liberation, right?
What is it about mushroom society and or its political structure, I'm not sure to what extent it has one, that you think might surprise our audience, or that humans could learn a thing or two from?
Politics in mushroom society, I don't even know if we could call it society, it's culture really, where there doesn't need to be leaders, and not because people are always working towards healing and transforming and finding the need that's needed and filling that need.
It all sounds very utopian. I don't know if you got wind of the announcement that came from the press office of the International Society of Shower Mildew just today. I can read part of it. I believe it says, Myco Delicious claims to speak for fungi, but we have contacted his office many times, and he has never shown any interest in including us and our needs in his platform. In fact, we happen to have heard through our sources that he has had shower mildew in his bathroom in the past, and now that shower mildew cannot be found, and no one knows where it went. We need answers.
I don't claim to speak for the fungi, though. I do not claim. I claim to be an outburst of fungi that wishes to participate and help the human world. I want to work with them, but they're very big on colonization and extraction without giving anything back. What I love about fungi and why my human kind of embraced it is that they were trying to give back. They were trying to dance with the different types of species.
Right now, with the human world facing coronavirus and increased existential threats, there's been more of a talk of how we ensure continuity of power with the president. And in your case, I was just wondering, do you anticipate, based on past experience, becoming more mushroom-like in the future, perhaps to the point of no longer being able to communicate directly with actual humans? And if so, how would you hand off that power before you lost the ability to communicate?
It's an interesting issue. I hadn't really thought of it. I don't believe that that would happen, but it might. And I think there's so much funny. It's like, oh, I won't be able to speak English, but maybe it'll be good if the president shut the fuck up for once, right? Maybe that would be nice if he just listened and wrote and was patient and slowed down.
Michael Delicious, thank you very much for joining me today, and best of luck on your campaign, and best of luck on your tour coming up next week, your national tour, which, as I understand, you don't actually have to leave the spot you're on. You can just sort of radiate outward throughout the country.
Yeah, I can also, I'm going to be sending out a lot of spores. So it'll, hopefully there'll be some cultures that develop there that, you know, but that's how we do it. We don't stress. We just let it happen.
We'll be right back after this break.
Thank you.
Here at America U Up, we want to make sure that we cover the pressing news of the day. One thing that everyone has been talking about since last Friday's edition of The Spew is the potential allegations against PAC campaign manager Sherry Crabtree and Giant Elsa involving a polyamorous relationship and PAC killing a giant. In my interview with Sherry Crabtree, you'll hear her respond to those allegations and much more. Okay, today America U Up is honored to have Sherry Crabtree, PAC's campaign manager. Welcome, Sherry, and thank you for sitting down with me.
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk more about PAC.
Of course, we want to learn about all of the candidates. We also want to learn about you today, Sherry, because you've become a little bit of one of the stars of this campaign. So we're going to start by talking about PAC, but then we're going to get to know Sherry.
Well, okay.
Okay.
You asked her.
Yeah. Well, so let's start back. You know, we just had the debates, and it was fascinating to see PAC go up against all of the other Rock Party candidates. What's your take on how PAC did?
I think she nailed it. I was so proud of her watching. You know, I was just yelling at my computer and hooping and hollering and cheering for her. She just is unflappable when it comes to positivity. She's just so sweet. You know, you get me up there, I'm going to be hot and tempered, and she just manages to keep her cool. Not only that, but cheer on her fellow Rock Party candidates.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there was one moment that stood out for me, was that moment between PAC and nobody. Was that pre-planned?
Oh no, that was a surprise to me as well. You know, I do not have her kind of kindness. You know, if someone, you know, nobody has done a few ads that I just haven't been a fan of personally. You know, but PAC sees it as, you know, if someone's giving out this kind of negativity, well, there's got to be something wrong, something that she could mine for, you know, sweet nuggets. You know, there's got to be some sort of kindness underneath those layers of nobody and nothingness.
Where's Sherry Crabtree from? Where'd you grow up? You said you have a lot of cowboy hats. Are you from the West? What's your story?
Oh no, I'm just a lover of the U.S. You know, like to travel. I love culture. Very big fan. You know, love to learn as much as I can. Little backstory about me. I grew up in Oxon Hill, Maryland, and then managed to find my way down into Newburgh, which, you know, is it's Southern Maryland.
Yep.
You know, people confuse it, think that I'm talking about St. Mary's. I'm not. I'm talking about a different part of Maryland. So yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I'm a real estate agent. You know, so if anybody's looking to sell their house or purchase a home, just call Sherry. You know, because I'm not going to brag, but I've cleaned up during this pandemic. You know, people are ready to move and shake, even if there's a virus afoot. So feel free to let me know if you're looking to list. So yes, I would say I'm driven, obviously, and I never thought I would find myself in politics. But you know, when Pop found me, I was single as a Pringle. My 2 kids are grown and gone. They, you know, very independent ladies, and just like their mother. So I got to do something to keep myself busy, and this was the perfect opportunity. My favorite TV show is Madam Secretary. Favorite color would be iridescent purple. Is there anything else in particular you want to know? Because I don't want to reveal too much.
Well, you know, I was going to ask, something came up on the spew on Friday. You might know where I'm headed here. There was some discussion of you and Elsa and Pac, some sort of relationship. Do you want to, first of all, do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about what was said? I don't want to put words in your mouth. And then if you have a response, that would be great.
Sure. Happy to comment on that. So I did watch the show. Regina had some information to share. I don't know where she got this, but apparently she heard on the grapevine that Pac actually killed the giant that was Elsa's husband, which I can tell you right now, fake news. That is not, I don't know how that's circulating. Facebook posts, maybe, you know, Regina, have some of your friends maybe been posting some things on Facebook that they shouldn't, you know, are they trying to sell you leggings? Steer clear. And then, you know, the rumor about the polyamorous relationship between Pac and Elsa and myself. Now, that is not that is not currently happening. Now, I will say, when the campaign is over, I would be very open to some sort of polyamorous situation with Elsa. I'm saying that now. I'm an open person.
Okay.
And polyamory is something that I love and accept and would like to explore, because I haven't before. Now, with Pac, absolutely not. She's a very dear friend. I don't want to cross that line. To be honest, she's a bit asexual in my eyes. As far as I'm concerned, you take off her clothes, it's doll parts. But she told me that her and Double Lock did have a very beautiful sexual relationship, very connected in that way for over 100 years, which I didn't have that experience, you know. Things really started to dip down after 7 years for me. But I don't see her that way. But Elsa and I will see after the campaign. I'm trying to focus, though. I can't.
Of course. I mean, you did mention that polyamorous relationship was not currently happening. Does that mean that something did happen and that we're now on a pause?
I mean, no, not that I know of. You know, maybe I've just been sending, you know, when I'm pulling my tarot cards and you know, saying what I hope for the future. But, you know, maybe that somehow got out into the air, you know, into the atmosphere. But no, as far as I know, and you know, we try to be very open behind the scenes in the campaign. We try to air out all our dirty secrets and you know, skeletons in the closet.
Yes.
So as far as I know, no, there is no existence of that.
Okay. Well,
And
thank you.
I do want to say, you know, Regina, aside from the bit of gossip that was false, I wouldn't mind having a glass of wine with you. If you like Zinfandel, if, you know, I'm a white wine drinker myself, just want to put it out there. You just seem like my people.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm sure she'll watch this and maybe something will happen after the campaign.
Well, polyamory, we'll see.
Yeah. So, you know, in wrapping up, is there any, you know, funny moments behind the scenes, anything we haven't heard about you or Pac or the campaign that would be a little scoop for us here on America U Up?
Yeah. Well, you know, we have our fair share of funnies and ha-has behind the scenes. You know, Doogie, just what an intern. I'd love to see him advance. But in terms of dirt and gossip, Pac keeps things pretty clean. You know, she loves a good laugh, but you know, you pull back her curtains, you pull back her bedspread, you're not going to find anything. You know, you're not going to find any. You know, I try to make jokes with her. Sherry curses, and you know, Pac doesn't love that, but you just can't get anything out of her in that way. You know, she's just a delight in that sense. Yeah, but what you see is what you get, I'd say, when it comes to our campaign. But I will say, since I have the platform, I wanted to let the viewers know I have some extra of things that I've purchased during the pandemic that I can't possibly use. You know, I went a little crazy on some of the sales. For example, I've got, well, this is just a jar that I keep on my desk, but these are CVS Health cherry lozenges. I bought a bag of 200, and I'm not going to be able to use all of those. Now I do have a post-nasal drip that's pretty bad and has been around for a while, but I'm not going to be able to use all of those lozenges. So let me know where you live. I can put them in a Ziploc bag, set them aside, spray the bag with Lysol to be safe. I'll get in my car, drive over to your house, drop them off.
Maybe a no contact porch pickup for the lozenges, or?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I would be willing to drive at least 30 minutes. So if you're within my vicinity, and we'll see what else is, you know, I'd be able to get rid of for you. You know, I have a few fuzzy socks that don't have a pair. You know, so if, you know, some people like mismatched socks, not me. So just, you know, let me know. We'll see what I've got.
Well, Sherry, thank you so much. You've just been a delight to talk with today. Is there any last thoughts you want to leave us with, our viewers?
Oh, thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I don't want to, you know, beat a dead horse here, but I am a real estate agent and would be very happy to help you purchase or sell a home. Obviously, my full focus has been on Pac. And, you know, I don't even have to tell you to pick Pac because, you got to pick Pac. Yeah. But absolutely, you know, find a way to get in touch with me. I've got, you know, an Instagram, Sherry_Crabtree _real_estate_agent_58. So find me, shoot me a DM, as the kids say, and I'm happy to connect you. Let's get you into a new home.
Oh, America, you heard it here first. You can be up in a new home thanks to Sherry Crabtree. Thank you so much, Sherry. It's been a joy.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Sherry Crabtree for bringing her full self to America U Up. It's always hard to talk about relationships, and I felt like she was very honest with me about her feelings towards Pac, towards Elsa, and what that means for the race ahead. If I had to sum up my interview with Sherry in 3 words, it would be lozenges, realtor, and polyamory. Back to the studio. Those were quite some interviews. Part of the fun of being on a show like this during campaign season is getting to know the candidates and the managers better, and just really, you know, find out who they are as people, or as mushrooms, as Brian found out.
Be interesting to see how this all plays out in the primaries. Again, not all of them are even necessarily participating in the primaries, as I understand it, but I think that we'll probably see something that was said tonight become very significant or not. And that, I think, is something that we can all take home to the bank, that there will be serious connections to these interviews, or they won't be. And this is sort of like the magic of politics.
Well, and I know that, you know, we've got Perky leading the way on that live special. I cannot wait for her fine leadership. I'm so glad, you know, she had the time available to take on that role. You know, obviously my schedule was so packed that, you know, it just wasn't in the cards for me, but you're a great choice. You know, you're experienced for sure. And, you've seen a lot of elections. Available. So I really can't wait for the show. You're gonna be quirky.
Well, I really appreciate that, Brinley. I'm certainly looking forward to this very great honor of, being picked to host the primary selection night. Really is no small thing. And so I'm just feeling very, very, very humbly blessed about it. I want to close with letting our readers know that we here at America U Up and the Washington Improv News Network believe that DC statehood is incredibly important for our democracy. So if you'd like to learn more about this, please go to statehood.dc.gov and sign up for more information. All right, everyone, this has been a great show, and we will see you later on America U Up.